Well, let's get started then. So this is kind of a workshop thing. I will build up first with a little bit of material to give you some context, get you thinking about how do you write a good product vision, and then we'll give you a chance to actually write the product vision, and then I can give you some feedback on your first drafts, and you can also kind of pair up or work in groups and work together to get some feedback. And hopefully you'll come out of this with a second draft of your product vision that you can go back and actually fine tune back in the office with your Scrum team or with your product marketing manager or whoever you want to be working with. Okay? So let's jump in. A little bit about the 280 group. If you were at the opening session this morning, then you know that we just do product management, product marketing, soup to nuts. Training, consulting, we provide books. We got a number of different books published. We also do private training for enterprises where we'll go in and help them and we'll do optimizations for their organization. So you already got the pitch in the morning. I'm not going to keep going, but that's kind of what we do, right? All right, I will add, though, why are we the 280 group? Okay, some people go, wait, is it the 180 group? No, that would be like, oh, wait a minute, that was not good. No, we're not talking about U-turns here, okay? It is the 280 group, and it's named after a freeway of all things, okay? So yes, we are named after Highway 280, which Brian Lawley, our founder, saw as sort of the spine of innovation between San Francisco and San Jose. And so that's why we are called the 280 group. We celebrate our 20th anniversary this summer. And when Brian first started this company, he was kind of thinking Silicon Valley would be his home base, right? And our customer base would be here. But now we teach in London, Dubai, Luxembourg, New York. And so our name is a little odd, right, for a global organization. But it always makes for a fun story, okay? All right, quick introduction. Why should you be paying attention to me? I've been doing product management for a really long time. After 20 years, I just stopped incrementing the number and said plus, because I don't want to admit how old I'm getting. But I've been doing it for a really long time. I started out technical, so I have an undergrad degree from UC Berkeley. And then as I got into the product management profession, discovered I got to be able to speak the language of the finance folks and the marketing folks and the legal folks. So I went here. I wish it had been in this building, but it was earlier, before this beautiful place was built. And I got my MBA degree from Santa Clara University, so go Broncos. I have several certifications, certified product manager and certified agile owner. And I also believe very strongly in giving back, which is obviously what Product Camp is about. But I also believe in community service, so I serve on 3 different boards, giving back to communities, including working on our local school district up in Scotts Valley. Okay? I also have 2 more awesome professionals from the 280 group to help today. So Pam Schure. I don't know if you want to take time to
I've been doing
yourself.
this for a long time. Moved back to the States in 2012 and started working for 280 groups. Yeah.
All right.
Engineer, so technical, MBA, and just done just about everything. Just
There you
see what
go.
happens after a while.
And Colleen O'Rourke.
Oh, how did I get in there? What are you doing for myself?
I'm fast.
Good.
I'm fast.
How'd you know I was
Colleen also started out technical and moved
Started out
into
technical, and it turns out I have a big mouth, and people call that leadership. So.
There you go. You all getting the worksheet as you come in, I see. Awesome. Very good. Thanks for joining us. All right, so that's us, and that's how we're going to help today. So let's talk about product visions. Now, the basis of this is that you're coming from sort of an agile and more specifically agile Scrum perspective. So let's see a show of hands. How many of you are working with an agile development team? Okay, almost, not all of you. Okay, all right. Well, this will equally be valuable for you, even working in waterfall. Because establishing a product vision is very powerful in helping motivate your team, connect the dots between what they're working on every day and what your customers care about. All right. So whether you're using agile methodology or not, it's very helpful. I want to understand the rest of the audience a little bit better too. So how many of you are product managers? So, more than half. Okay. Product owners. Any product owners in the audience? Okay, excellent. Product marketing managers.
You didn't even say anything. I don't even know what he's doing.
I know what he does.
Oh, he knows what you're up to. Okay.
Scrum masters.
Okay.
Hey? No Scrum masters. But then you're a practitioner of Scrum, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to shout out? You didn't get raise your hand yet? Yes.
Engineer.
Engineer. Excellent. Good.
Well,
Welcome. Absolutely. Anybody else want to shout out what you're working on if you're not in one of those roles? All right. So let's talk about product visions. What are they? So very simply put, product vision is your product's true north. all right? This idea that it should help set direction, it should help be something that you can use to make strategic decisions about what your product should be, all right? And we'll get into a lot more detail, of course, but I'm trying to stay high level right now. Ken Schwaber, who was part of the founding Scrum Institute, has this to say about it, right? And he said, look, Scrum team's got to, at a minimum, have these two things, a product backlog and a vision. So even from the very beginning of putting together Scrum, product vision was a part of what was needed. And he said in particular, it describes why the project's being undertaken and what the desired end state is. All right? So it's got to be pretty powerful. It's got to be pretty useful in both motivating the team and guiding your decisions about what should be in and what should be out. Right? Make sense? Everybody get this? Kind of match your understanding? Anybody think, wait, I thought product visions were something different? Hold on. Yep, you're all good with that? Okay, cool. Okay, how does it fit into the bigger picture? Well, in Scrum, so product vision's right at the beginning, okay? Right here, your product vision should be the source of what you use to prioritize your product backlog, and then your product backlog is the source of what goes into sprint planning, where then the next set of things you're gonna work on get worked on and lead to your next product increment. Okay, everybody get this picture? Pretty straightforward. I mean, I'm cribbing pretty much right out of the book when I talk about what Scrum is. I just want to kind of set context, right, for what a product vision is. Okay? Your true north helps you guide prioritizing your product backlog. Everybody got that? Make sense? Cool. I don't want to belabor the point. So now, what goes into making a cool product vision or a good product vision? And there's an interesting balancing act here. Okay? Product visions can vary from being super high and lofty to being super practical. And I'm not going to tell you it should be all the way one way or all the way the other way. It kind of depends on where you are. If you're before 1.0, then probably more towards the lofty side is a good thing to be getting you motivated. If you're on version 5.8 and moving to 6, then maybe a little bit more practical is probably appropriate for where you happen to be, all right? But it should have these characteristics, right? It is this expression of a future state, of what you're aiming for next, right? Whether it's the very first release or it's a subsequent release, okay? And it should help inspire the team. It should be exciting to a degree, right? It gets everybody on the same page or aligned with this common goal, right? And like I said earlier, it's going to help you make choices. It's going to help you decide that should go in, that should not. And we'll talk more about how to discriminate using your product vision, okay? And it should be concise. In fact, I'm going to give you a recipe where it's 2 sentences, okay? So product vision should not be a paragraph even, or a page, or 5 pages, because then no one's going to read it anyway, all right? 2 sentences will fit the bill here. That doesn't mean that there shouldn't be a whole bunch of other backing material that went into creating your product vision, your market research, your competitive analysis, you're working on voice of the customer work, all right? All of that should be guiding and informing your product vision, but itself should be pretty concise, all right? And it's not user stories, and it's not the product backlog. It's these things, it's this thing that helps guide those in terms of what should go in and what should be prioritized. Does that make sense? Everybody get this? All right? Okay? The other aspect of it is a good product vision should have these 3 elements: the who, the why, and the what. All right? Who actually cares about this? And when we say customer, there's a little bit more of a nuance. Let me ask another question. So how many of you are in B2B businesses? Show of hands. Okay, how many of you are B2C? All right, good. The other half, basically. All right, good. Okay, B2B, B2C, or B2B2C, right? No matter what, you're going to have multiple constituencies. Sorry?
One B to B to C back
Oh,
there.
one
The
B to
corner
B to
is
C,
going,
okay.
yep, it's
All right.
dark.
Yep, it's even harder. Absolutely. So there are multiple constituencies, what we call personas in your customer. All right? So you're going to have different people you have to satisfy. The actual end user, but also, especially B2B, the buyer or the technical decision maker. So all of those folks are in that hoop. And you need to understand deeply what they want, what benefits you're going to be delivering. Okay, the problem scenarios are these whys. What am I really helping with? And we focus a lot on problem scenarios. Just to comment, like if you're in the entertainment business, either service entertainment or apps that are entertaining, then You're not so much probably solving a problem as you are providing entertainment, okay? And that's cool too. And that can be a different why for your circumstance. And then the what? Your traditional 4 Ps. How many people, anybody not know what 4 Ps are? Because I can explain that, okay, okay. So product, okay, placement or channel strategy, if you will, right? And promotion, so marketing, right? And price, okay? Those are your traditional 4 Ps. There's actually 3 more these days, but we won't go into that detail right now. Ask me after class if you want to know what the next 3 Ps are these days, okay? And then the other aspects are the what, are the service and the differentiation. So all of this in 2 sentences, you got to be crazy. How are we going to cover all that? We'll get there. I'll show you how. Okay? So let's go with a couple of examples, though. All right. So Toyota's vision for the Prius, and I rarely read text off of slides to folks, but this presentation is one that lends itself to that. So I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to break that rule. All right. So the Prius is a vehicle that can make the air cleaner than it is. Questionable, I think, honestly, but cannot injure people. Always good. Especially in the news recently with self-driving cars, this is becoming a concern, right? Prevents accidents from happening, can excite, entertain, and evoke the emotions of its occupants. Okay, who's driven a Prius? Okay, I'm on my second one, okay? It is not the most exciting ride in the world, I must admit, unless you get excited by how high can I get my MPG, right? Okay, so if you're a metrics person like I am, then yeah, can I get to 75 mpg on this tank of gas? That would be awesome, right? So yeah, all right, I'll let excite go by, but it's not a Corvette, right? It's not that kind of excitement, okay? Okay, and then this really aspirational one, remember Lofty in the previous slide? Drive around the world on just 1 tank of gas. That's pretty lofty, right? We're not there yet, okay? But that means there's room for more, right? So it's kind of a cool thing, okay? So everybody get this product vision? Right? Spotify, a simpler one, fewer words. Give people access to all the music they want, all the time, and then this interesting thing, in a completely legal and accessible way. Now, why did they put that one in there? Anybody?
They're not Napster.
They're not Napster, right? Good. Some people still remember Napster. Yes. Okay, so they did have to throw that third one in there to be a part of their product vision. All right? But a very simple vision. Right? And yet it is inspiring, right? And it could motivate your team, right? Okay? All right, so what we're going to do is use the positioning statement, which is a part of your marketing strategy, as the basis of your product vision. There's a couple of different ways you can do product visions, okay? Another one is to write a product vision board. Anybody ever seen a product vision board before? Okay, no, but there's another way of doing that. We're going to use the positioning statement as a way to develop your product vision, okay? And product positioning statements are part of your overall strategic marketing framework. So they play a nice dual role. You can use them to help guide your development process, and you can use them to help guide your marketing strategy. And how many of you product managers have spare time? That's what I thought, right? You don't have a lot of spare time. So if you're already working on a positioning statement as part of your marketing strategy, you can use it also for your product vision. Nice way to save a little time, hopefully, in your lives, okay? So we're going to use it in this context of the larger go-to-market strategy. And I'm not going to explain the whole go-to-market strategy. This one slide, though, is a nice encapsulation of what a go-to-market strategy should include. But that's a different topic. If you're curious, after, I can talk more about that. All right, so here's the recipe I was talking about. How are we going to get to those 2 sentences? All right, so a positioning statement has this recipe. And oddly enough, this ties in very nicely with our keynote speaker this morning, who's from the Chasm group, because this recipe comes from the original edition of Crossing the Chasm. All right, pretty cool. So, and again, one of those few times where I'm going to read the text to you. So for a target customer who has this particular need or opportunity, I'll pause here, not who wants a whole bunch of features. Right? Product management needs to be focused on the need and the benefit, the opportunity. This product is in a particular category, we'll talk more about that in a minute, that has a particular key benefit, this compelling reason to buy. This should be that motivating thing, that exciting thing that your customers want, right? Then you have a second sentence. So I ended the first sentence. Second sentence, unlike a primary competitive alternative, and this can either be a category, So unlike other sales SaaS providers, or it can be real specific, aimed at a particular competitor, right? Unlike Salesforce.com. I mean, you could really get that specific if you want to. Our product, and this is why we're different, this statement of primary differentiation. Make sense? All right, so that's the positioning statement recipe, okay? Let's give an example. Amazon, in the early days, and again, these slides, I didn't write them this morning. These slides are some we use in our class, but it's another prime example, just like Michael was using this morning, right? For worldwide web users who enjoy books, Amazon.com, so that first, who's the customer? Worldwide web users who enjoy books, right? Early days. Amazon.com is what category? Retail bookseller that, statement of benefit, provides instant access to over 1 million books. It's getting a little old now. It's like over 100 million probably today books, right? Unlike traditional booksellers, so there's against the competitor, right? Amazon provides this combination of extraordinary convenience, low prices, and comprehensive selection. Does that feel like a good description of what the value is that Amazon provides? Again, in the early days, now you would talk about they sell everything, right? But in the early days, this is what they were about. And remember what Michael said this morning, focus, focus, focus. Start in a key segment and win that segment, kill it. And that's what they did, right? They killed that segment. So this is the example of a good, well-written positioning statement that you also then use as your product vision to help guide, right? So remember I said earlier, you can use this to choose what you do work on and what you don't work on. In the early days anyway, this positioning statement would help you realize I am not going to, right now anyway, sell other educational materials. I am not going to use this to sell car parts, because at that time they needed to focus, right? Later on, once they conquered that market, then, as Michael was talking about, they expanded it into more segments, right? But this, in the early days, is a helpful tool, and it can be in your business, wherever you happen to be. Use it to make decisions about what you should work on and what you shouldn't work on, right? Same with this other piece about extraordinary convenience. All right, focusing on the convenience aspect, and if you have benefits that you're looking at choosing whether am I going to put that in the backlog or am I not going to put that in the backlog, if it doesn't help with convenience, it's probably not a good idea. See how this works? All right, any questions about this? Make sense? All right, so I kind of did this as I was reading it to you, so I'm not sure I need to belabor the point, but I'm coming back to that original who, why, what. Everybody get that? See how the formula works? All right, great. Now it's your turn. Okay, so what I want you to do is take a look at that worksheet that I gave you. And the top of the worksheet has some warm-up questions. All right, writing product visions, writing positioning statements is hard work. And you're never going to get it right the first time you do this. So if you've got a pencil, I encourage you to use a pencil. If you don't, then write big so that you've got room to cross out and try again and do things like that. Leave some space. But use the warm-up questions to kind of get you into the right frame of mind. And then take a crack at writing your first draft vision, your first draft positioning statement. And then I'll ask a couple of you to read them out, your brave souls. Well, I'm going to do this in two parts. First, I'm going to ask one or two people to read them out so I can give a little bit of feedback, and Colleen and Pam can give feedback. And then once you've gotten that feedback, I'm going to encourage you to get into groups. And then Pam and Colleen and I will kind of wander from group to group and help you out as you're working amongst yourselves to refine and improve your product vision statement. Does that make sense? So I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to let you guys work on your first draft. And if you have questions, raise your hand, and one of the three of us can come over and help you right now, too. All right? But I'm going to say go, and let you get going. Some of you probably are getting to the bottom of the page now, so I put the recipe back up here so that you can follow the recipe as you're working on your position statement. Okay, 2 more minutes. Right. So who's got a positioning statement they'd like to try out that would be a good product vision? Sure.
So, for wealth management firms who need to manage, retain, and grow their book of business, Financial Services Cloud is a customer engagement solution that provides 360-degree view of customers.
360-degree view of their customers.
Of their customers.
Right,
yes,
okay.
Yes.
So for wealth management
Firms
firms, all right.
who need to manage, retain, and grow their book of business,
Mhm.
Financial Services Cloud is a customer engagement solution that provides 360-degree view of their customers.
So So the thing that makes it different, or a compelling reason to buy, is this 360 view?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's something that others aren't as good at?
Right.
Okay, let's hear the unlike.
And I didn't finish that part, but unlike say, Juncture, FS Financial Services Cloud provides relationship intelligence, customizable options, and ease of use.
Okay, so relationship intelligence, tell me what that means.
Relationship intelligence means that it shows you the complete picture of the history, how much business they give you, what products and services they are using with your firm, and also what are the other members of their family, and who are the other financial professionals they engage with, like a CPA or what have you, and also what are their financial goals, things like that. So you have a complete view of that customer's needs, and also the past activity history, what conversations you have had in the past, so on and so forth.
Okay, so read that sentence again. And
So-
I'm doing this to help you
Yeah, of
all
course.
too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
unlike Juncture, Financial Services Cloud provides relationship intelligence, ease of use, and ability to customize the solution.
Okay, so the only caution I would use there is like things like ease of use
Yeah.
can be pretty broad, and couldn't everybody in this room claim ease of use,
Okay.
right? So try to get more precise about
Okay.
what you mean by ease of use. In your case, is it that I can get this whole picture of this network, if you will, of all these folks in 60 seconds? Or does it mean I can find the right person really quickly? Get more precise about the real
Okay.
benefit that you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
And then the relationship management part, I feel like there's pretty good benefit there, but it feels a little bit feature-ish. So again, try to think about what's the benefit then to this wealth management firm of having that view, right? You're
Oh,
providing a
okay.
really awesome view, right? That's what I'm
Okay.
hearing. But what's the
Okay.
benefit of having that view?
Oh,
See
okay.
what I'm saying?
Got
Try to
it.
get more
Got
to
it.
the benefit side of things.
Oh, okay. Got
Okay?
it. So
And-
maybe like being able to attract and retain more advisors to your firm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Right, so that's the piece I was missing as well, because you started off saying
Yeah.
you want to grow their business, and I
Yeah.
hadn't heard anything yet that specifically tied what you were talking about to growing back to
Right.
the primary value statement. And so just what you said there, exactly, tell me how this is going to grow my business.
Right. So there's two things. You can better engage your customers and retain your advisors. Yeah.
There you
Okay,
go.
excellent,
Like
right? So that's what we're talking about, okay? So you want to be benefit focused in these things. Now, those three pieces that you had, although not ease of use we talked about, right? Those three pieces that you had would be part of the more detailed list of the
Right,
benefits you're
right.
providing, but that's the second level, right? Right
Yeah,
now, you
yeah.
want to be at benefits focused, not features that deliver those benefits, but benefit focused, all right? Does that help?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's hear one more, because then the reason I'm doing this is to help you kind of get into the right frame of mind and make all of you good practitioners, so as we break into groups, you can help each other. Be a little bit self-critical and critical about this. Sure, go ahead.
So the customer group over here is people who buy industrial equipment,
Industrial equipment, okay, purchasers of industrial equipment.
an e-commerce platform that helps industrial equipment buyers to find, evaluate, purchase, and manage all their business needs in an easy, accurate, and helpful way.
Okay, and again, easy, might want to be more precise about that. I didn't hear the product name.
It's an e-commerce platform.
Oh, an e-com, okay, but is there a name?
Yeah, I mean, it's a website name. So I just thought that vision should not be the website name. That's why I just made it a little generic.
Oh, okay.
An e-commerce platform.
Okay, yeah, you might want to be more specific. If your website is the name of all your stuff,
Yeah.
then maybe try to be a little more specific there.
Okay.
Okay, great. Now here the unlike.
Unlike I haven't written,
Okay,
because I was
fair enough.
thinking that rather than focusing on the competition, you should actually focus on what is the benefit that you are bringing to the table.
And you do want to do both, right? So yes, number one, get that understanding of what's the real value you're delivering to your customers, no doubt. That's why it's the first sentence, right? But the unlike is powerful too, because that's what you're going to use to help differentiate yourself, both in terms of what should go into the product, as well as what you're going to emphasize in your marketing campaigns. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So, and I get it, I didn't give you a lot of time to write this, so that's fine. No big deal, but I do want to emphasize that both parts are valuable. Yeah, question?
Related to that, is that because you want to have that vision not necessarily going out as is, right? It's more like internally you can help your team, tell them we're not focusing on that, or we're different from the competition because of this, or this is why we're doing this.
Yes.
You don't necessarily want to go outside, go to the market and say we are different because of this, right?
Right, so Pablo makes a great point that I didn't mention before. So positioning statements in general are internal statements, all right? This is for you. This is inside your company. It will become the basis for both product vision as well as marketing campaign, but the marketing team is going to take that language and make it more appropriate for sharing outside of your walls, all four walls, right? So yeah, you make a really good point. This is it for you. This is internal, which is why it can be pretty harsh, right? It can call out a specific competitor by name and call them out in a particular area of weakness of them versus a particular differentiating power you have, all right? So it's okay to do that because you're not going to expose this to the outside world. You're going to use it as a basis for what we call your messaging platform as you're building your marketing strategy, and we'll go out and have real market-focused, outward-focused messages. But this one is for you to start with, okay? Both to guide your product development as well as guide your marketing strategy. Does that make sense? So that's why it can be pretty harsh or, honest, whatever phrase you'd like to use as you're describing this unlike aspect. So everybody kind of get what we're looking for here? Benefits focus, not about features. And both of you did a good job of not going on and on, right? I've had some first draft positioning statements that are like, unlike this guy, we do this, 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 this. And I'm like, whoa, easy there. We're not talking about building a feature list in your positioning statement, all right? Really stay high level. Really stay at a benefits focus. What problem are you solving? What need are you meeting? What value are you providing to your customer, all right? So now what I would like to propose is that folks kind of choose a couple of neighbors, work group, probably in groups of 3, and read your positioning statements amongst yourselves and see whether you can help out each other in fine-tuning your positioning statements a little bit, all right? And Colleen and Pam and I are going to wander around the room and listen in, and we can help out or answer questions. This is a workshop format, right? I want you guys to get something out of this you can take back to the office and use, okay? So pairs or threes, whatever's comfortable, get into groups and work together for a few minutes. Oh, we might run out. I'm sorry. I think we ran out.
I didn't see any records, so
Just ask him to share his if you want. Yeah. Sorry?
Both here, not one.
Oh, perfect. There we go. So take a picture of it too. Yeah. We're out. Yeah. So they have to share. He has a clean one, so we can take a picture.
We provide personalized recommendations and insights to an employer.
Sure. Yeah, I just do.
Take a picture of that one.
Weird for me to be in the job recommendation.
You didn't get one, right? You want to take a picture of it? Yeah. There we go.
Very neat.
And maybe the 3 of you work together. Can you just share that sheet?
20-some states.
That works? Yeah, exactly. Take a picture of it.
I damaged the front cap.
The same thing
Yeah, I don't want to put personalized.
You did so much, you don't stop.
We do gymnastics here too. Less time. There you
Unfortunately, I just arrived. A lot of offers.
Good advice.
You heard mine, right? I can go.
There's all kinds of
financial data,
Very
and
big.
what commercial data, and we're gonna use
But you put something on
So I
there,
think
you don't want-
one for wealth
You
management.
can borrow if you want, if you want. I
Yeah,
don't
give
know.
it, give it.
It's up
Yeah,
to
we're
you.
gonna want, you get in the middle now.
Cloud is a
We're gonna want to-
Can you share what you want?
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Might be hard to explain. So let me say what the position statement.
Okay, sure, sure.
You wanna write it or shall I write it? Maybe you can tell me, I can write it.
Well,
so
well,
basically,
careful not to
give
more
us
opportunities
the
and more opportunities to keep right? Because that's really what this is about, right? That's the real benefit against your competitors from here. Against your competitors, you let them.
So typically what happens is, you have a customer, let's say for something, let's say if the data is dispersed that
So I said
if
clear,
right,
not
but and you have one profile for it, but then
I was
let's say
saying,
there's a different
initially I
profile.
said easier to
You
use,
don't know that
that's being a badass. So I'm trying to figure like, on structure, I feel like it's better, and you have like,
So then next time he is ordering this,
so, good
be
success
careful
rate.
so we don't repeat that same
I guess your structure.
Right, so having that full view of that customer, that what product is what products are right? So even if it is multiple has to explain about services just provided, and you might have cases where he has asked for it and we have not provided it or something. So having that full view, it's not just sales, service, and product usage.
They really just care about that. So I don't even need the clear instructions, like this
Salesforce or Salesforce partner or something, that's another business angle. So having that financial services so we not have to have a customer, but also a customer, and when it reaches household, there are these people, there is a dependent, this is the household, and this person is a CPA, and then by the way, the CPA is given us a lot of referrals, it's his referral to take care of it, kind of thing.
Yeah, so I'm
outsource hosting. Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah.
and so this is like obviously
Oh,
I mean, it's not even what we're doing as a company.
It's true.
There's no name. There's no name.
Some
Whatever,
cool
some
name.
cool name.
The benefit I think about the service engagement and advisor retention, because there's two things. So one thing is to attract new customers, so that way you grow the revenue. But the other thing is, the advisors, they work for you. They are providing services, kind of like your partner, driver partners. So you want to make sure that you attract and retain them. Otherwise you can shame internal report. Provide financial knowledge tools.
Yeah, we can
Work for you and
They want
literally those advisors will go and basically we want to experience and the advisor experience. So kind of like rider experience and partner experience.
So what's the benefit? I want to know.
I wonder if that's specific. Yeah.
What is
And relationship
maybe that's why.
We're like really.
And that's part of the first part allows us to.
Because I already know that.
Well, that is the key benefits is to agree on prices and
So that's where
So then I bring, yeah, so over here in the value I'll say, that's one thing is and over here I'm saying like, relationship in the This will go in that unlined.
Reading that budget or agree or not.
So be sure you guys.
Wanna go?
Stay on the chapter.
I described a product with.
Yeah, we're still working on some changes. We did a lot of the data insights part.
Program for a startup that I'd like to help with now.
So that's what I wrote. Or, I mean, converting is bad.
This is
Like managers go around, different
physical therapy providers.
that work with
Based on application
it's called like handheld products.
Access to products. I know today, everybody, we already see managed cloud service.
Okay, so
right?
I used to
So we've got cloud already. So
success
then provides access to cloud information.
by
More about this.
tracking
Product that's
applications in your exercise.
So tell me why that's, again, that's kind of a tech feature. So what's the benefit to having access to high performance computing? Why, these semiconductor design companies, what do they
There are
want?
like
They're close to so having access to this is
calling out the backside.
Alright, so, design companies, managed cloud service that provides the ability to get to market faster with high performance computing, right? And you can say, now you're really right?
inaccurate.
Yeah, so a lot of people, what they heard is they try to go to some other groups.
So that's the first part. And then unlike other infrastructure as a service providers,
So we look at listings.
right? As I grow or as I have slack. Right? Exactly. Right, so they don't have to build it themselves, right? Okay, so it gives them access to this HPC for not all the hassles of, right? I love that because those just payment processes. What is it that's, what is it that you want to build on? Okay, so enterprise would be specific to, allow these specific benefits that you wouldn't get from AWS. What is it?
it is at least monitored. Yeah, they provide that, they actually use their service.
What's the real differentiation? What's the real differentiation? What's the real value? What is it typically?
In your case, okay, none of the autonomous systems, all that to run driver, the carbon driver. Is that something
Okay.
No, that's a good point. I think that's my support because in that particular.
Managed cloud service for
Help them choose the
HPC workloads. That's a nice category.
This one is good, but it's early adopters kind of a thing, and which is very precise. But then the other way to maybe approach it is that you just talk to general which kind of customer, like why would they care about this autonomous? And then these people, this just becomes initial target group because ultimately who is this customer?
That's what
that part is missing here. Yes, where in the curve you have. from where you are.
This is like a straight way.
It would be more broader.
20 kind of.
That's how I see it. And then the value that you
every single
me as a writer, how is it better? Is it safer because of that?
Until someone else comes along.
I don't make the problem. So that would be another one.
Get set up like the standards, then you have real-time inventory. Yeah, the robots are
This is correct. I mean, based on that target.
How long have you used the
Over 30 years. Oh, you can find something too.
All right, folks. So one more minute to work on whatever it is you're working on, and then let's come back together.
Oh, that's
Just going straight at it. Oh, that's great.
Awesome.
Tons of support calls about the thing not running well.
All right, so how was that? Did you guys help each other? Yeah? Any questions or any ahas moments? Anything where you're like, ooh, wow, that was a great uncovering of an idea that you want to share with the rest of the group? Because sometimes those aha moments can help other people. Any other, call them epiphany moments, aha moments? Okay? Do you all feel like you've got a good second draft now that you could go back to your office with to work on? Got some ideas now? Okay? Excellent. So then just a couple more thoughts. All right? So we've talked about the who, why, and what. And we are very customer focused here, right? You get that sense? We're very benefits focused as well. The one last piece that you still also want to be thinking about, though, is your own value. Okay? Now, your positioning statement as the basis for your product vision will be a good way to guide your product team. But you also want to keep in mind that you want to have your product management folks, if it's not you, know this value of the product to the overall company. All right? Is it about increasing market share? Is it about increasing revenue or profitability? Is it about expansion plans? Is it about just, this is a campaign to improve our brand value, so we're adding these new benefits just to better highlight how this product works with the rest of our products? Or is it about, we're doing some fundamental work? Some of you may be doing stuff that doesn't face customers directly, but creates new architectures or creates new underlying value that will be leveraged by the rest of your portfolio. In other words, creates this intellectual property. Yeah.
If it's a new product that, new company, just entering the market, would that be?
Absolutely, right. So that's attacking a new market, right? Bringing a whole new value, hopefully, to that market. Yeah, no question. Okay? So some positioning statements will encompass all of that, but positioning statements are more focused on the outward view, and because product managers oftentimes do what I call navel gazing, they look a little bit too inward and not enough outward. That's why we put the emphasis there. But that's why I add this one slide of just don't forget, though, you also got to be making sure you're delivering benefits that are what your company's looking for. Make sense? So you write your positioning statement, but then you should have a couple of bullets as well about this is connecting the dots. And this is valuable too. A lot of development teams don't get why they're doing what they're doing sometimes. And the first thing is because of not understanding the customer, but then the second thing is not connecting the dots, particularly at larger companies. How does my little product help my division or help the overall company meet its goals? And the more as a product manager you can help connect those dots, the more excited your development team is going to be to get out of bed every morning and come in and do their work, right? Because they both, with a positioning statement, understand why this is goodness for the planet, goodness for our end users, right? And understand why it's helping the company improve, meet its goals. Make sense? So there's two parts to this, right, in this vision. Product positioning statement, which again will help you in your marketing, and then also making sure you understand company value. All right. So that's it. That's what I wanted to talk about today. Are there any other questions? All right. So I'll just go into a shameless plug. It's getting late. but you can still win, because I'm the one picking the winners in the contest, and I haven't done it yet.
I was gonna say,
So-
3 o'clock is past.
I know, but I haven't done it yet because I haven't had time. And so you have time to go to that URL. If you're using a smartphone, turn it sideways. We're finding that people have been telling us today that the form doesn't work so well in portrait mode. Thank you. I'm getting tired. Landscape mode is the way to go. All right? Do that. Okay? And then lastly, if you wouldn't mind, we would love to get your feedback. You can go to this survey link at Product Camp Silicon Valley and let people know, let the Product Camp folks know what you thought about our session today. And I hope you found some value in it. I hope you can take those sheets away, or if you took a picture of it, take it back to work and use that to help build your product vision. Thanks very much.